In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media, the World Wide Web, however you may call it, wherever you may find me. I am known as the mighty Angel Snub 7. I'm the mighty one. I am also your soul brother, number 1. Well, should I let this subject just go? Should I just be quiet so people can feel good about themselves, so they can continue to do the same thing over and over again and get the same result? And what result is that? The result that we're getting is absolutely nothing. And should I be quiet? Should I let you feel good about the continuation of nothing? And then you want to hand nothing down to our children. And they have nothing. You have nothing, your children have nothing, and your great-grandchildren, and the future results in nothing. The big fat 0. Should I be quiet? If I did not care, if these who are the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin with African or Aboriginal Native American ancestry, if I did not care, and why should I care? I care because somebody cared about me. If it was not for their sacrifice, if it was not for their caring, if it was not for their suffering and perhaps even their death, I could not exist and live as comfortable and walk easier than they done. So the least I can do is open my mouth and bring a word that will cause us to look into another direction so that we can begin to gain some type of benefit instead of the nothing that we seem to be comfortable with day in and day out. So I believe it was just yesterday. I live in the St. Louis, Missouri area, and I believe it was in the city of Jennings, a part of North County, St. Louis County. And a lot of soul brothers and sisters have moved out there, out of the cities into the county. You know how they condition us and they manipulate us real slick to get out of the cities. So now we're out in the county and all the races are trying to move back to the cities. Well, you already know about those things. So it's a lot of us out in the county, and a lot of us ran to the county in the belief we were getting away from the violence and the silliness of the city, but now the county is turning just as bad. So just yesterday, the news reported a family of 5 soul brothers and sisters being murdered. I don't think they have any suspects. They have no idea exactly what happened, but what has brought me to this topic is that we continue to go to church. We continue to go to the mosque. We continue to talk about this spirituality. We keep talking about this type of stuff. And it does nothing, it has done nothing to stop the murder and the pedophilia and the sex trafficking and the rape and the physical abuse and all the things that we deal with day in and out. It's doing nothing. So you have 5 homicides. Where was your God? The Muslim God, the Christian God, the Hindu God, whatever. Where was the spirituality at? Where was something, the supernatural y'all keep telling me about? Where is this stuff? The lady with the voodoo doll. All this stuff y'all believe in, and clearly it is doing nothing. How can you be a God and you say that this God created the heavens and the earth, and this God is omnipotent, and this God is so strong and so powerful, but yet and still, we know for the last few thousand years, this God has done nothing. The only time that you hear about God really doing something is in the Bible or Quran. There is no power in our lives than now. We keep talking about what God did in the Quran and what God did in the Bible, but in 2019, you can't tell us and direct us to nothing your God is doing. And so 5 people have been murdered. And we will do the same thing we always do. And I'm very sure many of them are believers in God. We will make an excuse of why God allowed this tragedy to happen. And we will cry, and we will mourn, and we will grieve, and we will say good things about a person that we probably really didn't like when they was living, but now they died tragedy in a tragic manner, and you go to the funeral and, oh, so-and-so was just such a wonderful person. Oh, so-and-so, they should have been allowed to live a longer life and all this type of thing, and then you place them into the ground and you say you goodbye and you wait for the next murder, the next tragedy. So now the next tragedy is somebody in your family die from cancer or get hit by a car or die in a plane crash or whatever the tragedy is, but this God never steps up to the plate to do anything. Some of you may say that your reward is after you die. That does not help you now. Why do you have to wait till you die to get a reward when you are serving the God and you're trying to do and please the God now, but you can't wait to get an award till later? That's like how many businesses are going to give you a hamburger, some French fries, and then talk about wait till later. They want to be paid now. You are better off having faith in a game, because in a game there's a benefit. If you give your worship, if you give your loyalty to a game, then most times when you get in trouble, that gang will back you up. So joining the gang will be more beneficial to you than serving God. Because if you belong to a gang and your family of 5 was murdered, believe me, that gang want to know who did it, and they're going to take revenge. That's how gangs do. That's how they run, and they give a sense of family. God is the parent. God is the head honcho. So there should be a benefit. So you pray and you worship and you foam at the mouth talking about God every day, but there's no reward. Your reward is after you die. And there's no evidence that you will even get anything after you die. There's nobody who have come back from the other side to tell you, oh, well, I was on the other side, and it's a wonderful place, and I'm living the high life. It's just all gravy. There's no sign that anything that you will get any kind of reward on the other side or in the afterlife, but you are required and you're supposed to give your loyalty. You're supposed to show loyalty. You're supposed to worship. You're supposed to pray. You're supposed to acknowledge and do everything you can for this God, a God that don't do a damn thing for you. Would somebody please, in the comment section, you jot down everything that God has done for you and you prove it. I don't want to hear that you want to give credit to God and God had nothing to do. You show us how your God saved your life and what God done for you. There are people around the world starving to death. They believe in God. All kinds of suffering. There are babies who have been baptized in the name of Jesus who are suffering right now, catching hell. Where is your God? Where is your reward? Where is your protection? What God, if we are the children of God, what parent is going to run around here and allow the homicide rate among us not decrease, but increase? What parent would allow that? What parent is going to allow their children to be murdered if they have the power to stop the murder? But all you do is come to me with these excuses. Oh, well, God called them home. Well, somebody, they didn't get the memo. They didn't want to be called home. There's no evidence to suggest they wanted to go home. And there's no evidence to suggest that they knew that God was calling them home. You keep making these excuses for this supernatural being that does nothing for you. Absolutely nothing. If we don't do it, it does not get done. And like King Noble said, that's a fact. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. If you want your condition to change, you got to do it. There's no voodoo lady. There's no witch doctor. There's no spirituality. There's nothing in the cosmos. You can't run to planet Z, planet X. If you don't do it, if you don't change it, it won't get done. The reason why we are in the condition that we're in is not because of a supernatural force. People decided to do this, not a supernatural force. So if people done this, then people can undo this. But a people or a person that's waiting on the supernatural, you're waiting for Caucasian people to breed themselves to the point, they become a minority or whatever special, whatever you have in your mind that does not require nothing from you. You don't have to sacrifice. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to do nothing. Everything is going to be handed to you on a silver platter. Well, you're going to be waiting a long, long time. Because nothing in nature, unless you get really, really lucky, nothing is handed to nobody on a silver platter. Nothing. So you still waiting on Jesus. You still waiting on the mother plane. You still waiting on this black Messiah. You're still waiting and getting nothing. So I refuse to worship, submit, and bow down to these gods and become this spiritual crap when I'm getting nothing in return. Because whatever you put forth, when you put a seed in the ground, that's supposed to be a benefit. Something's supposed to come up. You expected something to come up to help you.